Mr. President, the committee process exists for a very important reason, namely to allow considered discussion and debate to replace rash thinking and rushing to implement policy without regard to consequences. And yet, one of the very first bills the chamber deals with that the Democrats bring up for a vote, it does not go through committee and would absolutely disenfranchise a number of Michigan voters. When some of us voted on a similar bill in December, we did not yet know the impact of moving up our presidential primary from March of next year to February would have on the number of delegates sent to the National Convention. Well, it turns out that the Republican Party bylaws already adopted mean that Michigan would lose 85% of its delegates to the National Convention. Approving this bill means that 85% weakening of the voice of Michigan voters in determining their presidential nominee, and this is the very definition of disenfranchisement. A further discussion, I believe, should also occur in committee about what is the subtext, the message, the unspoken yet heard loud and clear with the Democrats' scheme to advance this presidential primary. They claim that the move would raise our profile, but the president is their incumbent. Why then would this change matter? The Democrats have their nominee. There's no real primary of any consequence. There's no hoopla, unless, of course, as many in the media have speculated, that their party apparatus is working feverishly to prevent the president from seeking his own reelection. Well, then, of course, then the motivations would be quite obvious. The intention of this bill would be to promote Gretchen Whitmer as a presidential nominee for the president in 2024. But this shuffle raises some important and interesting questions that could have been answered in committee. President Biden initially seemed to support this scheme, but with his administration's uncertain and alternating upheavals, his punchy and bewildered reactions as he moves from gaffe to gaffe, pivoting this way and that, will he do another pivot and resent this shuffle if he perceives a competitor rising behind him? Michigan currently receives a lot of money from the feds. If this chamber wishes to announce to the world, as it may, that by passing this bill, the Michigan Democrat Party has made its decision that it may want to just thwart the President of the United States from seeking his own reelection, have they considered down the road how the White House might react? Have they considered what potential ramifications this might have on Michigan if the White House contemplates that their president might just get denied a chance at a second term due to Michigan governor's ambitions to replace him? Because, Mr. President, if billions are at stake, think what that could mean for the 10 million people in Michigan and the effects on them with these federal funds concerning their daily lives. Given these questions, which are all still outstanding, is it not a gross abuse of the process to deny a bill, one that could disenfranchise voters and could have so profound a potential effect on every, especially the needy citizens of the state, from even getting a hearing in a committee? Are the people of Michigan so irrelevant and so inconsequential that you would play this political gamesmanship and not even provide an opportunity for a hearing on a bill that could have substantial public policy and public spending impacts? This blatant political ploy is certainly not to rise Michigan's profile nationally as they would have you believe. No, it's about rising the political profile of certain individuals in this very room, revealing true priorities of politics, ambition, and clout, benefiting many of the people here, but especially in the room across the street in the Romney building. It's about making them power players, or maybe even crafting a political advantage should the president decide not to run. The considerations of this political brainchild ought to have been done in committee and not on the fly. I urge my colleagues to join me in voting no on this Big Gretch 2024 bill. Thank you.